Hey everyone, how's it going? So, obviously I'm not working on anything, I'm driving. I haven't done a story time or a talking point video in quite a while, so I figured good time to do one. I was thinking about this today. A lot of people have noticed over the years that you just don't have very many good mechanics anymore. You have almost no good parts people anymore. Why is that? Like, what's created the problem? That's a good question, actually. I don't really know what's created the problem. I know a lot of schools took auto shop out of their curriculum at some point, and most of them have brought it, or quite a few of them brought it back because they know how important it is. But if you think back, I know when I was a kid, okay, growing up in the early 70s, back then, if somebody had a problem with their car in your neighborhood, you could just go down the street and find a half a dozen people, your neighbors, that actually knew something about cars, that could actually fix cars. Kids in school were gearheads. I honestly think the internet killed a lot of it. Back when I was a kid, I used to read Popular Hot Rodding, Hot Rod Magazine, Carcraft, I think I said Hot Rod, Car and Driver, Road and Track, Cars Illustrated, best magazine ever. And that's where I got to know Tony DeFeo, Uncle Tony's Garage. Not know him personally, but just know of him. I'd like to meet him one day. Anyway, so as a kid, all the guys that I knew of, well, the majority of them, I'd say 90%, were into cars, and they could get a car and fix their car, or at least try. Nowadays, though, cars have, yes, definitely become more complicated. Absolutely more complicated. But nobody wants to even try, it seems. I remember growing up, and there was a store in White Plains. I grew up in White Plains, New York. There was a store, a parts store, I think it was called Winix. I don't remember now. But you went into the parts store, and up on the wall, they had headers, rims, fuzzy dice, all sorts of aftermarket accessories, like a lot of stuff that you would find in like a J.C. Whitney catalog. Now, some of you may be saying, what the heck's a J.C. Whitney catalog? J.C. Whitney, back in the day, was, you'd get a catalog from them, and they had parts for everything. Big thing in J.C. Whitney, too, was the Volkswagen Beetle. The original rear-engined, air-cooled VW Beetle. They had whole sections on there. You could buy motors, all sorts of stuff, rebuild kits, fuzzy dice, chrome strips, chrome wiper arms, you name it. You could buy anything from a J.C. Whitney catalog, and that's how you got like your parts. But anyway, the parts store, they had like a lot of that stuff, that knick-knack stuff too, that you would see it on the wall. And I remember going in there with my dad into that parts store and just being in awe, looking at like camshafts that they had there. Like they would have them on display on the wall. You're looking at the headers, and you're looking at a turbo muffler, you're looking at a Cherry Bomb muffler, you're looking at a Krager SS rim. They had a set of slicks sitting there if you wanted to buy. They had like the Cooper wide 70 tires and wide 60 tires and stuff like that. All of that disappeared. Especially because of the internet. So now, when you went into a parts store back then, everybody was a gearhead. Everybody was into a car. Everybody had a hot rod. In high school, you had the nerds and the geeks, and then you had the hot rod kids. And usually, like me, I always hung out with the metalhead burnouts. I I was the oddball though. They would go out and drink and party and everything else, and I never had anything to do with that. I was my buddy Ed and I, we would always be working on cars. But going back to the parts stores always had people that were into cars, and you had catalogs. You had to look stuff up. Now everything's online. You click on a picture or whatever. You can't, unless it's clearly pointed out on the internet or on their program. You can't really scroll through and look at different things that are there. So it's like the people that had the desire to know and to learn just doesn't exist anymore. And then, like I said, going back to your neighborhood, all my neighbors would come to me when I was a teenager and I would fix their cars. And a funny thing is, like, I always had hot rods. There was cars outside on my street, and I grew up in the city of White Plains, so it was a very suburban type area. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just house after house after house on this quiet street, except it wasn't quiet when I was on it. And I'd be out there with open headers doing burnouts. My street was known for burnouts. People would come from other areas of the city of White Plains to come to my street to do burnouts, because there were burnout marks everywhere from one end to the other. It was just burnout marks. But there again, I could go to my neighbor, Sal, older guy, and he would know how to fix his own car. Guy Pasquale, Evangelista, he would know how to fix his own truck to an extent. But that doesn't exist anymore. It's not there anymore. Nobody knows how to do anything to their cars anymore. And it's kind of sad, really. Technology, internet, it's really taken that away from the hobby or the knowledge or the career path of automotive. But then again, like I said, vehicles were much simpler back then. But I remember being in high school and going to auto shop, and I was 15 when I started in there, 16, 15, and shop teacher Smitty, you'd have your classroom work, and then you'd have hands-on type work. And he used to always tell me, like, after he got to realize my knowledge level or my abilities, he used to tell me, you don't need to be in, I don't need to show you any of this. My car's on the lift. I want you to do this, this, and this to my car. And I was one of the only students allowed to work on his own personal car. He actually, at one point, he let me take his car. I was pretty sure I had a license. He let me take his car to run it into the city of White Plains to the parts store to get parts for him. Kind of neat. He had a Pontiac Grand Prix. But there were so many kids that were just so into fixing cars, and it's so rare to find that nowadays. We have a young man named Jaden at our shop. He's excellent, absolutely excellent. He undersold himself coming into the shop, and we even told him that, you know way more than you think you know. And he just, it's a mechanical aptitude, it's an ability, it's, a lot of it just comes naturally, and just people don't have it, unfortunately. But getting back to it, how do you change it? You really don't. The only thing you could do is, now my grandson's 11. He's going to, 11 and a half. He lives with us, and he's going to, I actually bought him a toolkit. So he's going to start helping me. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to start helping me, because I'm going to teach him, at least the basics, so he knows what things are and how to do whatever on a car. Everybody should know how to fix a flat tire, but it's amazing how many people don't know how. A lot of new cars don't even come with a spare anymore. Why can't you change your own brakes? I don't know. To me, it's very simple, and I think everybody should have that ability. Everybody should know how to check oil. Everybody should know how to change a flat tire. Everybody should know how to safely do things on their car. Even just the minor things. You got people that don't even know how to change a wiper blade. Like, there's no common sense there to look at it and say, okay, I can figure this out. Nope, it doesn't exist anymore. And it's really kind of sad. But, what are you going to do? Anyway, quick story. Beyond that, when I was 15, I bought my first car. It was an AMC Javelin. 69 AMC Javelin. When I first saw it sitting in a driveway, I was a paper boy. I saw it sitting in a driveway, and it was never there before because I knew everybody's driveway. And I used to, the cars that I thought were cool, and stuff like that, I would always go look at them. And then one day, this 69 Javelin appeared in this driveway. And at first, I thought it was an AMX. An AMX has a different grille from a Javelin. Those of you that know AMC know what I'm talking about. Well, this Javelin had an AMX grille. So I remember looking, and I see it in a driveway, and I'm like, oh wow, an AMX. And then as I got up to it, I was like, oh no, wait, this is a Javelin. So I was like, this thing's really cool. So I remember asking the people in the house, I said, who owns the Javelin? And they actually were holding it for a friend of theirs. A friend of theirs, it was their vehicle, and they ran out of storage, so they stuck it over there. So it turns out it was for sale, so I wound up buying the car. So it was technically my first car, and I put headers, cam, all sorts of stuff in it. But it needed tires, and it had 60 series Coopers on the back. So my dad brought me to Winix, and they did tires too, and put a set of these Cooper 60s, wide tires on the back of this thing. 2 weeks later, the cords were coming through the tires. Tell you what, my parents were not happy. They were not happy at all. I could say some other things about that, but yeah, all of a sudden, because my car sat like this too, the rear end was all jacked up. So I had air shocks in the back and shackles, and that was the thing back then, having a rear end all the way up in the air and having the wheels in the back sticking out. I got pictures of it somewhere. Let me see if I can find the pictures and maybe insert them here. If not, you didn't get to see pictures, but I'm going to try to see if I can find them. Anyway, and I remember I had parked in the driveway, and I probably shouldn't have done that because both rear tires were absolutely baloney skin bald with cords coming through. And my dad comes home, and he threw a fit because he walks by the car, and of course you could see the back tires clear as day, and they were gone. There was nothing left of them. Yeah, needless to say, they never bought me another set of tires ever again. So anyway, that's about it. I just thought I'd hit on a couple of points there. I'm going to try to do some more stories. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to start to do more stories coming up. Because I'm going to be relegated to office duty for the next month. As Rob goes on vacation, I'm going to be running the shop, so I'm not going to be able to work on many cars. So I'm going to try to do more stories for the meantime. I did have the knee surgery. The recovery is going so-so. Getting better. I'm able to walk, thankfully. It wasn't a knee replacement. It was what they call an ablation. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right. That's pretty much it. Thanks for riding along with me for a little bit. All right, guys. Hope you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right. Have a great day. Keep wrenching.